Brendan, first of all, can you bring us up to speed with your Champions League squad now that you've been able to make some changes?
All 25.
Tell you Tuesday, won't it? I don't have it to hand, to be honest. I think we've got a few that will come in and clear the players. Aye. So, but no, I thought it was here to talk about Ray, to be honest. So, but yeah, I think we've got we've got some of our young guys that'll be involved, and obviously our guys coming in. So, but there's no big shocks.
You obviously got that game next week, but as you say, Scottish Cup tomorrow. Is it easy to keep your focus on that when you've got such a big game coming up?
It's absolutely very easy. We're looking forward to the game. We very much a modern manager and modern manager in the modern game. You really are genuinely thinking about the next game. You can't look too far ahead. So yeah, we had a great performance in the midweek, and we want to carry that through. A little bit of recovery, and then we again, we're at home. We love playing at home, so we want to be able to take our game and our values and ideas and ultimately our hard work, because that's what it boils down to in the end, all into the game. And when we do that, we connect the game really well.
Does this kind of game tomorrow night give you a chance to use your squad and rotate it a bit when you've got these big games coming up as well?
Well, I think if you look at all the games I've played, I've virtually done that in every game. It's why we think why we sit in a good place with the squad, very few injuries. Sometimes you might not have wanted to, but you have to because of the health of the group, and so that you can arrive in the latter part of the season with as many players fit and available as you can. So I'll just continue to do what I've done throughout the season.
Good news, Brendan, regarding the Celtic fans being able to attend the match in Munich, please.
Yeah, no, it's great. That was the big worry for me when I spoke a couple of weeks ago, or maybe even only last week. So I was concerned that they wouldn't be able to travel, because they're such a massive part of this club. You know, the support that we get and the passion that they have for the game, that really drives us and helps us. And so to have them there, it's going to be great, and and we'll need them.
I suppose the cautious note is that this suspended ban is still in effect, and that there can be no more instances of smoke bombs, flares, whatever you want to describe it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think we're all aware of that. I think it's still hanging over us. So like I say, I hope that we can, give that support which the majority of supporters give, which is great. It gives us great strength on the pitch, and like I say, we can follow the rules and not have any more fines, have anything come against the club.
You saw in Villa Park just how crucial they were, I suppose, didn't you? You go 2-0 down, but they're still there, and that's sort of what you need in these sort of big atmospheres.
It's just sheer passion. The supporters are everything for this club. What they give to the team, it's what makes it. I've said it many times before. The support, whether it's financially or emotionally, what supporters give to Celtic is what makes Celtic what it is. So to have the support there with us always makes a huge difference. We see it domestically, we see it when we travel, like you say at Villa Park. I think the young player Morgan Rodgers said he'd never seen the way end like that in any game. So and that obviously makes me very proud as a manager of the club. And as I said, it's not a surprise when you're Celtic minded, but we just want to make sure that there's no barriers in the way for us to play and have that support, and so that we can play the very best we can.
You don't want it to become a distraction as well. Guys like us asking you about it. Now you can actually just fully focus on what's going to be a great occasion for everyone. Yeah,
I think in every which way the questions will come, and I respect that. They have to, because it's a point to debate. people obviously travelling, they need to organise as well. So there's many reasons why why it's good that the news has come out now, because there was talk around we might not know until after the first game, which wouldn't have been ideal. So it's really good news for everyone, and then just concentrate on the football.
Does it come with a kind of warning to the few offenders, the repeat offenders, like I said, almost last chance to win now?
I'm not sure they're going to listen to me, if I'm honest. So whoever that may be. So but let's hope. I think the game now as a whole, and it's not just a small group of Celtic supporters. You see it throughout football. This element of ultras and all this sort of thing. We see it throughout Europe. So it's not just solely Celtic supporters. But my only worry is for Celtic and our club, and so that we can maintain the status that we have, which is an amazing club with an amazing support base, and a club that supporters can travel anywhere in the world and always be welcomed, and doors are always open for them. So and that's what we always want to have.
There have been reports in the last couple of days about, I think from Croatia, about Greg Taylor potentially agreeing a pre-contract with Dinamo Zagreb. Has his situation changed at all as far as you're aware?
No, not that I'm aware of, and I know there was interest there, back in January, but it was nothing that was ever concrete or spoken about too much. No, my feelings will be still to hope to convince Greg to be here. Of course, as time goes on, the longer it goes on, then that becomes much less. But it doesn't change his professionalism. He's a brilliant professional, and we'll just have to see how the next 4 months go.
You've obviously brought in Jeffrey as competition in that area in January. I don't think we've had the chance to ask you about him. He was saying that there was interest in the summer initially from the club, and that maybe could have happened. I mean, quite pleased you managed to eventually get that deal done. Yeah,
very pleased, because it's just having the cover in the positions that are important for us. I said before, we didn't expect to lose Alex Baye. So then we need cover. So to bring in someone of his experience, he spent the last decade or so in the Premier League. I know through people I know really well at Leicester City that he's a young player that came through there and came through the system and won the Premier League. So at a real depth of his character and his mentality and everything else, and that fit it here perfectly. So I'm looking forward to seeing him come here and showcase his talents when he has the opportunity, but also for him to experience being here, because you're in the Premier League, you think the Premier League's the only league in the world, it's the only big clubs, but he'll come to here and he'll recognise the size of this club, the institution that it is, the pressures that are here that'll be totally different to wherever he's played before in his career, and I'm pretty sure he'll enjoy the city of Glasgow as well. So yeah, and I know that he's really looking forward to it.
How tough will it be to convince Greg his future's here with Kieran coming in the summer, albeit there are so many big games that the club's going to be involved in? Is that going to make it tougher, or?
Yeah, no, I think it's, listen, I've had a number of open conversations with Greg on it, and I do think that is an issue. There's no doubt about that. He's been a starter here for virtually 6 years. He's always had a challenge that he's overcome from other players coming in, which is a great testament to him and his mentality and his professionalism. He's obviously knows Kieran well, and he knows his qualities and his abilities, but there still can be room for two of them here. There's absolutely no doubt. You're playing upward of 55 to 60 games a season. You can't play one player, and I wouldn't want to play one player in all of those, because you're just not going to have the right physicality that you're going to need and intensity. So, but to have two players of that quality here would be absolutely brilliant for the club, for the team, and obviously for the changing room. So that's probably the things that Greg has to think about. From my perspective, I don't see it as a problem, because I know he'll play a lot of games. He'll play in big games. and like I said, as would Kieran. So, but he has to decide that for himself. It would be a different role for him, but it's not something that we still can't conclude.
Doubt's not really affecting his performances, or is it a doubt over his future? And even the other night with the 2 assists, he still has a big part to play this season, no matter what, I guess. No,
absolutely. I've a lot of respect for him as a footballer and as a person, and I think even seen him at Motherwell. I thought he was excellent in the Motherwell game. Just his aggression in the ball and his position. He plays the role near on perfect for us, how we want. He knows when to be inside, outside. His level of his passing, everything is at such a consistent level. So yeah, I just think that's his type. If he was sat on a 5-year deal, or like you say 4 months, I think you get the same from him. Of course, from a manager's perspective, you're always trying to stabilise your squad and stabilise young guys with their futures as well. So, but that ultimately is down to them and their decision.
Thoughts on Wraith and job that Barry's done with the key man?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing Barry. I thought I was really, really disappointed for him at Aberdeen, because I think when he stepped up, he'd done a really, really good job. The challenge of Europe for any club is really, really difficult, and he'd done so well in his time there that he qualified Aberdeen into Europe, and the shallowness of the squad meant that it was really difficult for him when he was in European football, going away and the expectation and then coming back. And if I was honest at the time, you really want to see the manager backed and go and allowed to go through that tough phase of it all, and because it's tough because he's done so well, and then maybe never quite had the squad then to support that, and that isn't the manager's problem. So it'd be nice for him to be able to ride through that, learn from it, and then go again, because having just stepped up, he'd done a really, really good job. So I was disappointed when he lost his job, but great to see him back in. Good to see him tomorrow. His teams will always be like him. He was a combative player, tough player, and they'll come to defend very, very well. So we just have to make sure we play our game, because that's what I've learnt in this year and a half since I've been here, is that our true strength is when we are playing at our level, and we can do that in all phases of the game. Then we aim to then get through from that into the next round.
No fresh injury concerns after Dundee game or anything like that?
No, only one. Kasper Schmeichel won't play, so Vil will start and goal. Kasper, little issue with his back, so he'll miss out in the game. And like I seen in pre-season with Vil, a young goalkeeper came in and played in those games really well, and so I'm really looking forward to seeing him make his debut.
Just a short-term thing for Kasper.
Just when we were ready to go there, I should have just not told you that I sorry out of the 5 voices there.
Just a short-term thing.
Yes, yeah. It'd be okay for Wednesday.
No doubt so that Sinisal was been keeping himself fit while sitting in the bench.
He's a great boy, and that's always the challenge. You come in here, but he's known that having been at Villa and then investing his time playing down in England with Exeter, and he knew then coming into here, he's got a real top class goalkeeper to learn from. So sometimes you have to invest your time into learning, and but we took him in. We'd seen him play. He's obviously represented Finland as well. Very, very talented young goalkeeper has come in, been patient, understands the role at this point. So it's really nice for him now to get that opportunity. So I've seen him in pre-season. I've seen him throughout the season since, and I've got no doubts.
How's James Forrest? Is he close?
He shouldn't be too far away from getting out onto the onto the pitches. So but he's obviously not no good for the weekend.
Brendan, can I ask you about VAR? St Mirren and Dundee United this week coming out and saying that there needs to be a bit of reform to get rid of the inconsistencies with it. Is that something you would welcome, a review of it?
Yeah, I think there's a number of things that fit around it. You know, there's clearly a funding issue in terms of maybe not having the best system, you know, that's in place, and that's financial. That's, you know, everyone would maybe love a big house, but if you can't afford it, then you can't get it, you know. So then you have to adapt and deal with that. So we get numbers of little issues around that aspect, you know, and I think it's probably the same with officiating as well. And you know, I think I heard Stephen mention about full-time referees, and I'm totally in agreement with that. But then for that to happen, you need funding. And if you don't have the funding, then they can only be the best that they can be. So I understand the dilemmas in it. The VAR, as I said, it's the best package that is available. And I think in many occasions it's worked really, really well. We've certainly seen other moments of real good clarity from it. And then there's other issues that take a little bit longer, maybe because you don't quite have the extra angles that you would need. And again, it all boils down to the funding, I would say. So, but yeah, I think then clearly, obviously, decision making then within that.